Well, Friday today, only a couple of more days to go. It's the start of our walk today. Should have brought me fishing rods.
Today's walk starts from the Wet Sleddale Reservoir and Dam car park, and after a short walk along a bridleway, we ascend following Poor Hag Gill and a wall that runs parallel. Once in the moorland, the first items of interest are the numerous grouse butts and a shooting lodge called Lunch House. Then, after taking a look at the impressive pink granite boulder known as Grey Bull, we ascend to Sleddale Pike. Over very rough ground we carry on to Great Saddle Crag before dropping to a lovely waterfall at a bend in the Sleddale Beck. After a short ascent again over rough ground, we make our way to Ulthwaite Rigg. After yet another dose of rough ground, we pick up an excellent old pack horse track, taking us to Sleddale Hall for a quick look round. We also admire a wonderful rebuilt pack horse bridge before we finally return to the car.
Well, the team's here, full team this morning. Morning. Looks like Claire's bought the costas and the biscuits for everyone. So we'll all be ready. Full team, leaders in the middle, smiling. Route card in hand with young David.
Are you charging the map today?
I don't know, I mean, I just made the mistake of getting hold of it.
This is Tigger Steve. He's always bouncing around.
His guide shows us that Wainwright was definitely not a fan of the dam and said it was just a drowned area with its sad relics and ruins. He continues on by saying that the head of the valley remained unchanged, however, by the dam, and that the hills were unaffected as they always have been, lonely, wild and desolate. Perfect place for red grouse to breed and for shooting parties to wait for the glorious 12th of August. So if you don't want to end up in the mouth of an English pointer or a golden retriever and then dragged back to one of these grouse butts and plucked, I recommend you don't do this walk on that particular day, because you might end up in this place. Warned in the guide that people over 75 years of age should be advised to regard it as unclimbable, we had to restrain young Dave because of course he wanted to take up that challenge and climb this giant boulder made of pink granite, but failed dismally to stop young Anne trying to push it down the valley. Well, this was the top of Sleddale Pike, and we checked and rechecked our GPSs and OS maps because it looked nothing like the diagram in the guide, but we were happy we were there. We soon got back to our game of dodging the bog and guessing who was going to get the first bootful. Don't misunderstand me though some of the going was difficult, this is a great walk and we were loving it. Some people were loving it even more than the rest of us. There's no getting away from the fact that this is miles and miles of open moorland, heather, long grass, bog, etc. But then suddenly you're greeted with just wonderful sights.
Well, after traipsing through hours bog, found this beautiful little beck coming out, and it looks like Steve is just I missed that, Steve, can you do it again, mate? Oh, there's GNS over there. Well, we're all safely across. Mr. Saunders there, nice smile from him, it makes a change. He's normally telling me off, being grumpy. There's the crew, and I think we're missing two. Young Dave and Bill.
Well, obviously two things to clear up there. One, I am never grumpy, and I've never ever told Chris Blake off. I don't know where he gets that from.
This is our graft. Wet, dry, bog, peat. Mile after mile. We've got a storm coming in across there as well.
As we step out there into this beautiful land, we can fly away. Through and through, as time evolves, love will keep moving on.
Diamonds in the mine. It turns out that this was the best thing to ever happen to me. Errors and glitches, what a way to find. Such hurt could bring you greater peace of mind.
Sleddale Hall was sold by United Utilities in 2009 to a conservation architect named Tim Ellis. He had bold plans for renovation, but to our knowledge, though he still owns the property, he has had great difficulty in obtaining the much needed planning permission to get it to how it was in the film.
Well, look, we've got some gentle walkers here coming through their poles. Good afternoon, young man. Would you like to say something?
Yeah.
Good afternoon.
What are you doing later?
No,
This
well,
has been very pleasant coming
Excellent.
down from here.
Lovely.
Unfortunately, the going up wasn't quite so nice.
absolutely.
One more thing. Have you heard of the hole in the wall?
Come
Well,
on.
look, there's a hole in the tree there, look.
Anyway, it was nice meeting you. Well, the track that we're on at the moment is actually an old medieval trackway and used by the pack horses going back to early Bronze Age.
David was surprised to learn that most pack horses were Galloways, small, stocky horses named after the Scottish district where they were first bred. The use of pack horses can be traced back to the Neolithic period, and in the 18th century Galloways were bred in Swaledale to haul lead ore. Swaledale runs broadly west to east from the Cumbria-Yorkshire boundary to the market town of Richmond, with the famous 9 standards Rigg cairns at its head. Sadly, the Galloway pony is now an extinct horse breed. So we see Galloway cows out in the fells, and now we discover that Galloway ponies once trod the tracks we walk along. There'll be no living with the old boy now.
Well, look at this. Looks like a typical medieval pack horse bridge. Look at that. What a fantastic sight.
Though Chris is quite correct in identifying this as a wonderful pack horse bridge, it was in fact completely rebuilt by the Manchester Corporation in the late 60s when the dam was built. They added new parapets and strengthening and was completed to replace an older one lower down the beck that they thought would not withstand any flooding that may have been caused by the new dam. I have to say, they made a great job of it.
Left your heart on a lonely avenue.
Oh wow, look at that. Absolutely lovely. Oh, we'll have to get Graham Saunders in there to rinse off his poor old sore knee. That is absolutely stunning. With the pack horse bridge in top. Look at that. Beautiful.
You've left your heart on a lonely avenue. It will be only a matter of time before your life comes through for you. If you've ever lost every part of yourself, if you've left your heart on a lonely avenue, oh, it will be only a matter of time before your life.
Do this one on a clear day after it hasn't rained for a couple of weeks and you'll love it. May the wind be on your back.
Lost every part of yourself. If you've left your heart on a lonely avenue, oh, it will be only a matter of time before your life comes through for